criminal citation. You will go to jail for it. Yes.
That is criminal.
Yes, it is a misdemeanor. Yes, you will go to jail for refusing.
We don't have better shit to do right now.
I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. Like I said, you have the option to sign this or don't, and you will go to jail if not. Do you wish to sign this?
No.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. That's because Asana is where humans and AI coordinate work together. AI can spot roadblocks and assign work in a snap, so everything and everyone stays on track. That's how work gets handled. That's Asana. Visit us at Asana.
Good morning. How's it going, man? All types of stuff. Xbox. flip. What's up, MT? What's up, Bravo? German and Irish and Scottish and French and English and Dutch, but not Swedish. Thanks, man. As far as I know. Good morning, everybody. Hi. Please pet the cat. Good morning to you. Change the song.
Rich song, Millie rock, them diamonds on me dancing. When you working hard, then your money start expanding. I got model bitches want to lick me like some candy. And them drugs come in handy. Last name savage, bitch, but no, I'm not brandy. Hit her with no condom, had to make her eat a planty. And I'm sipping on that codeine, not brandy. I'm just starting on my ex bitch. I'm just blessing on my ex bitch. Starting on my ex bitch. I'm just blessing to my ex bitch. Took a wedding ring, I
gets out of jail. Hell yeah. I'm rolling up. Free Diddy. Good morning, garlic. I don't know, enlighten me. Are you implying it's very gay out there in the Navy? Good morning. You're sweet. Yeah, I might go back to bed in a little bit. What up, Sloop Ek? Oh shit. Don't tempt me with a good time. Why are you so gay? Why are you gay? Oh, you're talking about the Navy. Yeah, I think I've heard rumors like that before. Just woke up. Oh yeah. What you got going on today? I need to get some food, but actually I could go to Subway. That's open right now. Everything. I wanted to go to Shake Shack, but I gotta wait till like 10 for them to open. Oh my God, he's awake. Yeah, I couldn't sleep. I tried to, but I guess I was a little restless, so mess with them. Anytime. You're welcome anytime. I gotta go real quick.
This is that. Rappers yelling out, sipping rap flow for the box, spitting beam on, sipping that flow. Block others know the style, triple that dough, 40 cal for them cocksuckers, sit them back slow. What y'all know about coke pies? Get them that low, I'm out them before the blow top. Simple cash flow, best been wise, no dollar. My side is the fast flow, so hot. Cooking cops and searching your asshole, what's the drop? That please niggas fight with they stand with the rock niggas, the play poppin', poppin' they man, it don't stop. We up top, but we lock the land, and we both flop, we close out. Get ghosts and scram, gingerbread niggas on the bump with feds. Shit is sick, pretty sick to put a gun to your head, never a bit. Either think quick or end up dead, 'cause when we flip, what's left to be said? New York, New York, New York, New York. You know the town, stupid, this is all authentic ground. You can get poked, grabbed and choked and shot up a product. Bank hold stay in the lab, too many dumb niggas is scheming. You can get murked up in the cab. Shout out the niggas that be jerking tags, rolling in jacks. Little boy letters, little boys will blast you. Niggas that carry ones that hate grass and love hip hop. The shit that bring money out of zip-locks. Protect your dome, warning what karma do to the kid. I have you on the floor with your armor loose. Break the door down and sign truces. Then switch the next motherfucking day. Fuck all excuses. When you see me, it's real. I'm just a natural born hustler. The cats where they rap you on plastic blue. So every soldier that's on, remind you, funeral is critical. You might stay a night if you
Yes, I will take $1 million in cash.
sustainable.
I think I might get some soup today. To the gym. Yeah. Nice. Well, actually, I was thinking about I might get Subway for breakfast, and then Shake Shack later, and then soup for dinner. Hopefully it works out like that. Hope you have a good, delicious meal tonight. Yeah, Subway on the app right now, I think they have a deal that's like 50% off your foot long, so that's a pretty good deal. What kind of sandwich? Lately I've been just getting the All-American because it has bacon on it. It has roasted turkey, I think ham, and bacon. So it's like pretty, it's got a bunch of shit. I like the Philly, but I feel like they don't put enough stuff on the Philly. Yeah, I remember the $5 footlong. It's crazy. Now you have to use a reward, like a promo code to get a $5 footlong these days. But they do have some pretty good deals sometimes. Like they did have a deal going where you could get a free sub if you bought a few. Jealous of my hair? Say less, bro. Just get on hymns or something. Get you some finesse to ride. Oh, nice. They're fun. You should take some cool pictures. Nice. Yeah, that AI tracking sounds cool. Long hair's the way to go. That's good. Hell yeah. I've been exercising lately too. I feel pretty good, just hungry more hungry when I exercise. So I gotta eat more. Fuel up. Yeah. Good luck, man. Cancer's a bitch. We gotta knock that motherfucker out. Nice. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna try and remember. Yeah, I'm thinking of getting like some soup tonight and maybe some nice bread to go with it. Fancy bread. cool. I mean, hopefully you get to see them. What's up, everybody? She's getting bigger lately. She's finally getting to normal cat size. Sometimes sneezes feel so good. Man, you gotta grow your hair out, Josh. Short hair's for lambs.
Go to school. Put it right view, 'cause I know these niggas smart. Beat up my life like an iPhone 11. Old school niggas on my right,
Because I'm black.
I get the guap, I ain't playing, I ain't bullshit, smoking up his chops, got a plan, and I'm moving, get my money wrong, what's the bullshit?
Bro's from Britain, and he deleted the message because he got the fucking speech police over there in fucking shithole UK. I don't ban anybody.
Boy, long, ain't cut with a full play.
Blood gang. Oh yeah, you're seeing red. Oh, okay, that's what's up. I thought those, well, I would never choose the pecker whatevers. It just sounds weird. At least with the brotherhood, with the brotherhood, you got a brotherhood. Yeah. I'm a bass man myself. face trainers. Well, I'm sure people would say that about me too.
12 sips, 12 bottles of gin. Man, look, purple cushion. Smoke that bitch. Sour dick. Smoke that bitch. OG cushion. Smoke that bitch. If it don't hit like Cali, I don't smoke that shit. Purple cushion. Smoke that bitch. Sour dick.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're in prison, you kind of don't have a choice. You kind of gotta choose a gang. Otherwise, you're gonna get fucked with a lot. Hey Josh, what do you think about bringing back the swastika as a peace symbol? Well, I'm gonna do it anyways.
Like forever.
Let's go to shadow. They wanna see you alone in hell.
I'm sick right now. Fuck off, Josh. Eat my nutsack with your cereal.
You are watching a mess.
Put my nuts in your cereal milk.
How much money you got? A lot. How many problems you got? A lot. How
My brother lost his life and it turned me to a beast. My brother got life and it turned me to the streets. I've been through the storm and it turned me to a G. But the other side was sunny, I get paid to rap on beats. How much money you got? A lot. How many problems you got? A lot. How many people that
You might be right.
that's a lot. Left you out to rap a lot. How many credits you brought? A lot. How many lawyers you got? A lot. How many times you got shot? A lot. How many you shot? A lot. How many times did you ride? A lot. How many done died? A lot. How many times did you cheat? A lot.
Well, we got to bring back the swastika, man. They can't blacklist it forever. Better have that meatloaf ready. I need my meatloaf. Mom, meatloaf. Meatloaf. Bro, I wish they would bring that show back. Pickles was the best. I feel when her food's empty. You saw Death Clock? That's dope, bro.
monkey.
Can I get rid of him? The PJ is gone to Italy. He was nothing but kid in the morning. I go to the strip, throw 6 degrees. These niggas is nothing but bitch to me. These niggas be really so hard. She walking the pin with no clothes. I'm thinking 500 on roll. We got songs in the trap like we slow. Let's go put my bitch on the cover of Vogue. I drop albums, they platinum and soul. I got mansions and millions, my goals. It's a white, Rolls Royce gold.
The future of weight loss is here with Wegovy and Hims. Lose up to 20% of your body weight.
I like Dave Chappelle.
Young man, you keep my flows. Professional bitch, yeah, come here, just drink on her head, nigga. And what is a 6 foot? What's that? I'm saying, what's that? Ain't fucking this bitch, recording this shit, she giving fast. I light up my wrist, this Elliot list is 200 bands. Single drug straight out of Japan, you see what I'm saying? He don't wanna leave, he turning to vegan inside of my hand. He answer the kid up in can, let's go. I had to trap and go kick me in the before I ever had run so fast.
Yeah, I'm glad Death Clock still does that, but I wish they still made the show. Bring back the show for everybody.
Into the church, into it in the streets, into it at home. The rest is bullshit, you know it.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
That's dope, bro. Sounds like a cool show. Amon and Marth and everything. It's been a minute since I've been to a concert. I almost saw Slipknot last year, but they were a little far away. They didn't quite come to me fully.
I simply am not there.
He called you a cowboy.
Well, I'd go for another movie if they made another movie. Or, like, yeah, if they're not going to bring back the show, I'd take another movie.
Just a humble bounty hunter.
Fucked up big time. You're incapable of running this shit. Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Okay, man, are you ready to go? I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now, crank this motherfucker up.
So you want your fortunes told. Gather round, my pretties, and we'll peer into the crystal ball. What did he mean? What are you?
if I sit in my head. Maybe on Twitter like me on this. Say I fell off, but I fell in this bitch. Fuck your white flag, I ain't telling them shit. I play it cool and have roll you the blick. Look out your stooges to show you I'm rich. Now you can't drop no new music or shit. How you jump right on that song and you snitch? Nigga, you sassy and wrong as a bitch. Say the wrong thing, you get put on that list. This is a warning, cause there's no this. Better thank me that y'all ain't
my supporters that do.
Applebee's all you can eat for just $15.99. That's unlimited value for $15.99. There are trucks, and then there's the 2026 GMC Sierra.
God bless you.
Get 2.9% eight.
Okay, I'll pull up, house out, open door, you see how they surrounding me. Rounding up these niggas, drop them off to the open seat. Took your boy to K King, I sink up the timepiece. She looked back and said, how come you never spend no time with me? OEM the chaser, I ain't putting in no fucking seat. Cruising with my vodka, rest the bottle in the bottle, please. Flying through Japan, I just shipped a call from overseas. You be taking orders, I got men who work up under me. Pull up, hop out, open door, you see how they surrounding me. Rolling up these niggas, drop them off into the open seat. Took your boy to K King, I sink up the timepiece. She looked back and said, how come you never spend no time with me? Start with me. Turn around, smell what you don't see. Close your eyes, it's
Let's stop.
Why not?
I don't know nothing about
on the shop is free, it's only me, nobody else. I look back and told her open door, you see how they surrounding me. Rolling up these niggas, drop them off into the open sea. Told your boy to carry king, icicle the timepiece. She looked back and said, how come you never spend no time with me?
Richard Branson. Yeah, sure. Sure, why not? Found it. Excuse me. Real niggas don't need a pass. good son.
Stole my bike.
These days, you've got two choices: buying a new car or making the one you've got run like new.
it, bro. Good thing it's clean. Couldn't tell you. Sure. Swirl. Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot you said that. Smoke it if you got it, man. Smoke it while you're still alive. YOLO. No, he had that many songs. I didn't know he was like still making music. Oh, apparently he's gonna be in Portland soon. That's crazy. He's gonna be in Portland on July 18th.
Slipping away. That's like it's slipping away.
I just found out one of these Pokemon cards I have, if I got it graded and it was a PSA 10, it would be worth $650. Might have to get that bad boy graded. Not much. I'm sick and I'm just chilling. Thinking about getting some food soon. Which one? This Mew card. Hard to get it to focus. The Mew card where he's like sleeping. Also that Snorlax that I have behind me. That Snorlax is worth, if I got that graded and it was a PSA 10. Actually, no, it's not a PSA 10. It's a PSA 8. So I gotta look at the value on it. But it's definitely worth more than what I bought it for. I'm pretty sure I bought it for like $20. And now it's worth like much more. What's up, Ellis? Yeah. You said used to? Does that mean you sold all your cards or something? Rest in peace. Oh, for real? I was gonna watch that. Hell yeah. Thanks for letting me know. I've been playing the Mortal Kombat game on Game Pass. Mortal Kombat 1. You watched most of it? Nice. And also, I got Game Pass Ultimate now, so I've been playing Forza and a bunch of other games. They got Resident Evil Village on there. How do I like it? The new Mortal Kombat's good. It's fun. I gotta play more. I've been focusing on Forza. What's your favorite genre of music? I don't know. I don't have a favorite. Yeah, unfortunately, I lost my original Pokemon collection when I was from being a kid or whatever. But I started collecting a few years ago, so I got a decent amount now. Nice. Smart. Easy to listen. Yeah, I like these chill beats. Chill wave, lo-fi, hip-hop, funk mixes. Oh man, I actually really want that card, and yeah, it is worth the price has shot up on that drowsy card, because I was actually looking at buying that, and then I was like, damn, that's a little too expensive now. Should have got it when it was lower. But I'll get it eventually. Popping off when I start. Yeah, I didn't realize. When I started recollecting again, the two cards that I wanted to get was the Moonbryon, and the that Lugia alt art. I love that card. Still never got either of those. It says for an ungraded drowsy card, it's like $60. I'd like to pay 20. I don't even want to pay 20 for that, but I would pay 20 for it. But I haven't bought any new cards recently. Oh, I bought one. I bought the Team Rocket's Doug Trio, It was only like $3. And I started trying to get all of the new Team Rocket Team Rocket cards. Yeah, that's why I stopped like collecting lately. I'm sick of the scalping and everyone, the high prices on everything right now. I'm waiting for the market to crash, then I'll get back into Pokemon. But this year is the 30th anniversary, so shit's might be high all year. What's up, my fellow Wicca? Lego. Oh my god. Yeah, I used to like Lego when I was younger, but the prices on Lego, even without scalpers, is crazy to me. But yeah, the scalpers got a hold of that. They knew it was there was like a big multi-million dollar, some guy was stealing Lego sets, and he had like a big fucking big business going on, stealing Lego sets. Nice. Yeah, you kind of got to get a discount, otherwise it's a rip-off. I used to like Bionicle too. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you know the story. It's crazy as hell. And then there's other people just like reselling them on like eBay and whatever other sites. See, they want like $20 for that. It's like a fucking piece of plastic. They got me fucked up with these prices. It really says $20 for that little fucking one Lego figure. That's crazy. You know what? Check this out. Check this bullshit out. This is the new Jack in the Box thing, and like they were selling these at Jack in the Box for like maybe like $3 or like $5, and it was like a random pack, and then this was supposed to be like the rarest one, and then like everyone on eBay was like selling them for like way more than like $30, and I was lucky to get this one for $20, and I didn't even want to pay that. I paid $20 for this fucking thing. Now that's low. Scalpers got me. Just because I was, I don't know, I really wanted that figure. And the scalpers were fucking busting heads. Comes in the minifigure series. That's pretty cool. Are you gonna get all of them? What? Nice. That's pretty cool, actually. So you don't have to guess which one you're getting. Phew. So the fact the minifigure selling for $20 makes no sense. Well, I think that was the eBay price. Oh, cool. That's what's up. Yeah, it's nice if you can get a retail. The shittiest thing, especially about being in Portland, is that there's so many shitty thieves, petty thefts, that they took away our Walmart, they took away the Target, and they took away Dollar Tree. So the Target and the Walmart are where I used to go to find like Pokemon sometimes. Yeah, so it's hard to get retail shit around here. And then they got at the Fred Meyer's, they got one of those Pokemon kiosks, and it's always sold out, so you can never get Pokemon there for retail. So it's pretty dry around here. I mean, there's some card shops, but I think they sell it for higher than retail too. Sucks being in Portland sometimes. They better bring back the motherfucking Walmart or the Target or something. Because they closed down like 2 different Targets, or maybe 3. Which is lame. Yeah, exactly. And they haven't put limits on that. Yeah, the scalpers are really ruining the hobby right now for like, you know, a bunch of different hobbies. I think there's just too many people doing it right now. Like, too many people are trying to make a living as resellers. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it seems like scalping caught on and became like seems like everyone's doing it. Everyone and anyone scalping became viral. Bruh. I wish they fucking would reprint something. Like, they better reprint something eventually, because I'm not trying to pay crazy prices for the fucking cards I'll never be able to afford. Should reprint everything. Because the new cards they come out with are like, they're trying to get back into like nostalgia. Like all the popular new cards are just like first generation cards. And all the like 9th generation or whatever it's on, all those new cards suck ass and no one wants them.
Cars are cool. Rental cars are not
Put
cool.
on antipsychotics and get 3 therapy sessions at home, so no hospital. So good. Damn. But the hospital, you would get hospital food, right? I don't know. Antipsychotics sound wild, bro. Hope you're all good. I don't know if I would take the meds, but that's up to you.
On the night of December 26th, 2022, Hurricane City Police in Utah were called
3 sessions a week? Damn.
leaving officers
Hopefully it's not too bad.
and a new rookie officer facing the biggest test of his life.
Sir, no habla español. No, sí habla español. Lo que pasa es que no me quieres ayudar. No hay ningún otro policía. Hey.
Made contact with us.
I feel you.
Started screaming in Spanish and just.
Well, whatever helps, you know. Hope you're all better. Get all better.
Hey, come here. Come here.
Do you speak Spanish?
So, un momento, okay? But let's pull right here so you don't cause crash.
I think I'm getting ready to get some Subway. Cheers to you too. I'm about to smoke a bowl. But I need some food too.
Okay? So come right here so we don't cause crash. Here to help, okay? Come here. Look, you're in the road. You gotta move. Move. Right there. Watch out.
Alright.
Okay, we need to pull him over and get him out of the car. Okay. Just kind of. Will you get in your truck and pull him over? Yeah. So is there any return on that plate? He's driving erratic, almost hit 2 of us.
Well, I'm sick right now. Got a bit of a cold. Other than that, I'm good. Been playing Forza and all the new games on Game Pass. Not too bad.
Or if there's any Spanish-speaking deputies, start heading this way. Great, we are turning.
Yeah, sure.
34 kilo on, let's carbonate right now.
I don't know. Maybe it's yeah. I think it's when the seasons change. Maybe that could be it.
Now, we're not going fast, but with him out of the rest of his mind, let's not push him into anything.
Recognizing the suspect's unstable behavior, officers choose to end the pursuit rather than escalate the situation further. A short time later, a multi-vehicle crash is reported nearby involving a vehicle matching the suspects. Officers arrive and begin investigating the scene, unaware the most dangerous moments are still ahead.
Is he still in the car?
Yeah, the car doesn't feel right.
Stay back. Nikita, hold up. No need to rush in on him. Was he in there? Okay.
He swerved and like bike crew over here.
Oh, he swerved up over the curb?
He swerved up over the curb, hit the curb, and took off running. But now we've got at least one other car crash.
Anyone else in the car? Hey, man, you guys okay?
That looked like he was trying to kill himself.
Where's he at?
I tried to swerve away from him, and he was literally trying to push us head on.
Are you guys all right?
My ear's a little
Control
rattled.
works, service work, medical respond for the secondary vehicle. You know, and we said that.
Sorry. Let's hear the joke, bro. I asked you for a medium rare. This is well done. Chef says thank you. Oh, nice. I like it. Good joke.
Van ran them off the road. You guys know some ways? It's okay. All right, you're safe. Just take a deep breath. What's important right now is to control your breathing, all right? We need to slow it down a little bit, okay? So just the deep, slow breaths, okay? I have medical. They're going to come out here. They're going to check on you guys, okay?
I'm going to go talk to these people in the trailer park, see if they got anything. Just keep them close to you. Were you guys out here by chance? Did you see anybody from that van or anybody come running this way?
No. We just came out like literally 2 seconds after we heard the car accident.
You guys weren't outside already, were you? You didn't see anybody come this way, did you? Okay. Echo 30, 4 Kilo 1. Will you head over to the apartments over off 2480 West? We got multiple people in the Sinclair side of SR9.
I won't tell on you.
That he did not run over this way.
He's in somebody's house.
Moments after the crash, reports come in that the suspect has broken into a nearby apartment. He's now inside a stranger's home just blocks away, and the situation is about to turn violent.
Let's go. You don't need Nikita. Stay with the car. Nikita, stay. We're this single? We're 2480 West, so keep your lights on. Look around. We're down here. Responding units. We're going to take Rico in with us. We went upstairs, 250 North, 2472 West, 250 North. So go forward. So 250 North is right there. So we don't need the red and blues on. We don't want him.
4 Kilo 1, Echo 30, do you want us to hold off if you guys are here?
We're here right now. Stop. Turn your lights off. Here we go. Here.
They need to get out here.
Will you tell them to come outside?
That's good.
Come outside.
That's a good one, man.
Are your kids inside still? Where is he?
My kids are upstairs.
Where is he at?
He's upstairs at the very top of the stairs.
I gotta get ready. I gotta go get my Subway sandwich for breakfast. I was just driving crazy. Red Audi started chasing me, so cut him up. Oh shit. Sounds wild, man. Fast and the Furious out there. Shit. What the hell?
Come on, Rico.
Oh, shit.
You're right, buddy. You're okay. You're okay. You're right, buddy. Where's the knife? It's on the 5 speed.
Glad you made it back safe. So, that sounds pretty crazy.
Hey, I'm there! Stay in the room! Stay in there!
Don't come out, don't come out. If I can get some light, I'm holding it, I just can't see. I couldn't see what he pulled out, but you heard it. Yes, come on, buddy. I got you. Come on. I got you. You're a badass dog, dude. You're good, buddy. Good boy, buddy. Good, buddy. You're good, buddy. 36 kilo one. Can we get either the mom up to the kids or the kids to the mom?
Patrol 426, suspects echo.
Lysol disinfectant spray can prevent mold and mildew growth. Spray it every week to break the cycle.
In the ultimate race for survival, Robert has an advantage. His Columbia Omnimax shoes were engineered to tackle nature's toughest terrain. Robert clears the...
Well, my head still kind of hurts. My mood, I don't know, man. Tip-top shape. Guess I'm hungry. Hungry is the best way to describe my mood.
Okay.
But I'm about to get my Subway sandwich in a few minutes.
Hey, will you
What do you need, Eric?
Bring my car over here.
Okay.
Top of the morning to you, laddie.
What do you need?
I was going to put him in there, but I just put the tires, I'm assuming medical. You get it, buddy? Hey, did you shoot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
I did.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
You're good.
I'm good. I'm not hit. I'm not hit.
Okay.
I had to use a I had to use a promo code, and I had to use my rewards points, and I got my sub down to $5, so I'm getting a $5 footlong. Surprisingly, at Subway. Normally, otherwise it would have been like $12.99 or something. But yeah, I need to drink some water so I can get my get myself fully better. Yeah. They have not stopped yet.
The land of Britain was once considered a myth by the mighty Roman Empire. To them, it was nothing more than an old legend. This would change in the year 55 BC when Julius Caesar set his sights on this fabled island and sailed towards its shores. The historical discovery would end in defeat. Almost a century later, the Romans found glory when Roman Emperor Claudius stepped foot on British soil. They set their eyes on Stonehenge, using the sacred site for their worship and rituals. Londinium was established, and the Romans seized control of the land. But what happened next in the history of the United Kingdom? To understand this fascinating land, we must start from the very beginning. What would become the United Kingdom began way back within the prehistoric Paleolithic period, which dates back to 950,000 years ago, a time that the earliest evidence of an ancient civilization dates back to. The first settlers that arrived in Britain were hunter-gatherers who traveled from Europe around 8000 BC and are now known as the First Britons. This group of people showed one of the earliest forms of economy, with the hunters trading native elk, wild cattle, and pigs while defending themselves from wolves and bears, which were rife in Britain at that time. Over the years, people have discovered a large quantity of tools, such as carved stone edges and hand axes. It is incredibly rare to find human remains from this period, which has made it difficult for experts to determine which form of hominids were living there at any particular time. With that being said, the tools that have been found give evidence that they were probably a subgroup of Homo erectus, like a species known as Homo heidelbergensis. Trying to follow the movements of the Homo erectus is also very difficult, with the early sites that have been discovered being divided by many years and spread out around Europe, making pattern forming difficult. At one time, Britain was part of the European mainland, and not the island we know today. This made it incredibly easy for groups to spread and relocate to other parts of the landmass. As the land moved and water levels rose, groups were cut off and were left to evolve. These early inhabitants relied heavily on both hunting and scavenging, which have been proven by the wooden spears discovered in Essex, which are believed to have been crafted around 450,000 years ago. It is often the stone tools that survive, so finding wooden remains is an incredibly rare and valuable find in terms of the information they provide. The hand axes would often get worn down over the years, with flint flakes chipping off them. It is these flakes that give archaeologists a trove of information, especially when they can trace the technique of making them, the complexity of the tool, and the type of stone used. In fact, hand axes were not used to chop down wood, but were more likely a way of cutting up animal carcasses for eating. Because of the simplicity of the tool and the expertise of the hunters after creating several of them, they've been discovered in high volume at some ancient sites. This proves that groups often returned to certain places and that they chose not to carry the tools with them as they traveled, instead making new ones on arrival. As the techniques in tool making advanced, the Neanderthals of Britain began strategizing with their weapons to hunt larger prey like woolly rhinos or mammoths that once called Britain their home. The next phase in the prehistoric period is known as the Upper Paleolithic era, which saw humans physically evolve into what we are today, with only a few elements of our ancient ancestors still surviving in one form or another. This is why we still have wisdom teeth, which were once crucial for eating raw food. At this time, Europe would have been an incredibly harsh and cold place to live as a result of the last ice age. This led to many inhabitants leaving at certain times when the climate dropped to ensure their survival. This was not only to prevent freezing to death, but to ensure that they were able to find plenty of vegetation and animal prey all year round. Limestone gorges also offered shelter to people living in Britain around this time, with deep caves and overhangs being invaluable places to set up camp. Around 11,300 years ago, Britain began to warm up, which began a substantial phase of growth, which saw birch and pine trees flourish, as well as other forms of greenery. Other forms of woodland also spread across the land, including oak, hazel, lime, and elm, which are still in abundance to this day. Particular animals that remained after the colder climate changed, such as reindeer and horses, drawing hunters that were accustomed to tracking and killing the animals. This led to many of them traveling across Europe and settling in Britain. As the climate continued to warm up, many of the inhabitants had to change their prey to red deer and boar, as other animal species migrated or died out. This change of prey forced humans to evolve their tools and technology in order to survive. Around 6,300 years ago, during the Mesolithic period, many groups began setting up winter and summer camps, which allowed them to live in an ideal environment that catered to their needs when the natural climate changed through the seasons. Sticking to one place would use up all their food and resources, such as wood for making fires. Without these things, they would perish. Spending time in another location meant that the local habitat could repopulate again, which humans could hunt once they returned. Coastal sites were often chosen for certain times of the year, which meant that humans began eating a heavy sea-based diet, which
song?
Mostly consisted of fish and mollusk. This also helped develop tools that could be used to help catch water-based prey, further expanding their knowledge and curiosity about the ocean. The transition from hunting and gathering came about around 4100 BC, which was aided by the arrival of agricultural techniques that came from the east. This was propelled by the population boom seen during the late Mesolithic period, which meant that the animal resources they
I'll check it out. I don't know. I think I remember it.
Relied on were depleting fast. The British landscape began to change soon after, with the inhabitants making mass flint tools, which were equipped with wooden handles. These were used to clear the land, so that fields, pastures, and settlements could be created. Barley and emmer were the first main crops grown for a vegetative food source, while pigs and cattle were captured.
That's an old school song. I've probably heard it before. I know some little Boosie songs and Webby. You heard me? Webby game. Crazy protest going on in my city. Oh yeah, that's cool. You gonna go check it out? Check out the protest? I gotta go get my Subway sandwich. I think it's done. Yeah, but the fucking stupid ass Subway app is being weird. Like, they updated it. And then, like, it's not letting me track my order anymore. Weird. Yeah, I will. They're mad about the lady kick. Yeah. I saw that. I saw she got killed. But, you know, if you're like 70 years old, you shouldn't be like attacking people. People might attack you back. But yeah, I gotta go get my food. The food better be ready.
And bred so that they could generate their own meat sources rather than
But
kill
yeah,
them
we
straight
back
away
in,
for food. This
waste
shift
war
to
finna break
building a
out.
self-efficient settlement saw the first domestic building.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, they've been waiting for like a. That's what those people who shot up the synagogue, or they shot up the mosque or whatever. And, I don't know where it was, but they were trying to start a race war. Anyways, I'll be back in a minute.
Which included large, narrow wooden buildings known as longhouses. Another form of domestic building were structures for the dead to be stored and respected, known as long barrows. The Neolithic period introduced several huge changes to Britain, especially when it came to technology, landscape, and settlements. The causeway enclosure became popular at this time, which were circular monuments built up banks and ditches forming a ring around the settlement. Structures known as cursuses were often built within the circular banks, with the longest enclosure ever discovered in Britain measuring an incredible 10 kilometers, which is around 33,000 feet. When it came to hunting, the way that settlers created arrowheads evolved, with the design appearing more like a leaf shape to aid its aerodynamics. These later changed to chisel and transverse arrowheads to further improve their craft. This was a result of social changes, which were no doubt influenced by different groups mixing that shared their crafting expertise. The chisel arrowhead was easier to use, which could be glued or bound to an arrow shaft, which made production far quicker. During the middle of the Neolithic period, the British settlers began to slow down when it came to wild animal hunting, instead depending on their own livestock. Afterward, arrowheads became less sharpened as they were used as a deterrent against other settlements, stealing livestock rather than killing the thief. The reason for this could have been down to rising social pressures that forbid murder as a punishment for any injustice. Between 2600 and 2200 BC, monuments known as henges were erected, one of which being the famous Stonehenge found in Wiltshire, England. While there is no definitive proof, it is believed that the henges were used for rituals and astronomical observation. Because the ditches are located inside of the banks, experts have concluded that it wasn't used as a form of defense, but rather as a symbol of defense. During the later Neolithic period, pottery and tools began to change. During the early Neolithic era, pottery was often round-bottom bowls with necks that sloped down. By the late Neolithic, the style changed to flat-based pots that were decorated by etches made during the drying process. These early pots were primarily used to brew and store beer, although dairy products and stews were also contained in them. With groups gathering and technology quickly advancing for the prehistoric people of Britain, it was time to move into the next critical era for their advancement. The Bronze Age. The arrival of metal and beaker-style pots represents the change in Britain, ushering in the Bronze Age of the country that began in 2200 BC. Bronze alloy was actually much rarer than iron ore, which meant that the resource was reserved for tools. White gold was primarily used to create jewelry. The other alloy used by people during the Bronze Age was tin, which was also quite scarce in Europe. Because bronze can be cast at a much lower temperature than copper, it meant that bronze casters could use molds to create more elaborate designs, such as daggers, halberds, and axes, which were far more durable than the stone tools that came before them. Bronze is also much harder than copper, as the tin within it reinforces it on an atomic level. Beaker pots were still used after bronze was utilized, with their different designs, decorations, and refinements improving as time went on. In fact, intact beakers and pots that were used in the burials give an insight into the craftsmanship, which sometimes still has honey residue in them from the beer they drank. Daggers were made longer during the middle of the Bronze Age, which became the first swords made in Britain, which were called rapiers. As social tensions grew between the different groups of people, more variations of weapons and shields were made. There is even evidence that neighboring settlements could have used the weapons heavily by the damage sustained to them, although they could have been intentionally damaged before being placed in hoards to prevent anyone else from using the swords against them. While there is evidence of human remains being cremated in the Bronze Age, it's likely that much of the remains were scattered or placed in moving water. This is evident from the lack of bones found within burial sites, where more bodies should have been located. This shows how the people of this time mastered fire and ways of increasing its heat to successfully burn human remains and cast metal. It was during the Bronze Age that boundaries around land started appearing, which were traded and claimed by dominant families. Livestock pens and agricultural fields became an important part of everyday life, as well as the copper mines that provided jobs for inhabitants and allowed metalwork to advance at a very swift pace. A historically important site was discovered at Great Orme, inland Didno, Wales, that provided 90% of the ore used to create axe.
The 3 for Me only at Chili's is now available with the big crispy chicken sandwich. Wait, and it still comes with bottomless chips and salsa and a bottomless drink? Oh, fast food is not gonna like this. This Chili's 3 for Me is the best $10.99 you can eat.
We can keep our enamel for a lifetime if a patient takes the proper preventive measures. I choose Blue Clinical Enamel Strength because there's clinical evidence to support that it does strengthen the enamel. Pronamel Clinical Enamel Strength does a really good job of adding that extra protection to the enamel.
What if AI could handle your most repetitive tasks? With Google Workspace Studio, you can automate workflows, track action items, and more, simply by describing your goal. Go from deadline to done with Google Workspace.
What's Ryan? It's my understanding that you no longer work for the CIA. That's my understanding too.
Free axes all around the northwest of Europe. From 1000 BC, another change in climate resulted in many areas of Britain becoming uninhabitable, mostly due to the lack of crop growth in the cold conditions. Also, areas that were once ideal for growing vegetation became wet and boggy. With the eruption of the Hekla volcano in Iceland blocking out much of the sunlight, with the land becoming inhospitable, many settlers moved on from the land, while others repurposed the fields for strictly raising livestock. Those who refused to leave were forced to build walkways and raised settlements over the wetland beneath, which inadvertently improved their structure building skills. The most preserved examples of cloth, food contained in pots, tools, furniture, and wooden objects were discovered within the fens below these settlements, as they would have dropped down or fell in after a structure was attacked and broken down. Because of the lack of oxygen and muddy conditions of the bogs, these items were preserved for millennia. Near the end of the Bronze Age, the long pointed rapier blades evolved into long flat blades, with a full tang going into a cast handle. Now, weapons were not only becoming an art form for the people of the Bronze Age, but a necessity for their survival. Hordes of weapons became rarer in the Bronze Age, which is believed to have been a result of its value dropping. This led to crafters, known as founders, to hold back their wares in order to raise its value. This is the first example of market strategy in British history, which later became an incredibly important factor in its economic growth. The Iron Age began around 1200 BC in the Middle East and southeast of Europe, which is best known for the extensive iron and steel crafting that took place. While it was rare, there were some settlers who were dabbling with the smelting of iron during the end of the Bronze Age. Although it wasn't until the Iron Age that the craft skyrocketed around Europe. The Iron Age was vital to the advancement of the human race, as it helped speed up civilization growth, provide more resilient and permanent settlements, and opened up more possibilities when it came to crafting tools and creating weaponry that kept up with the advancement of other groups spread around Europe who could pose a threat. Because steel is much stronger than bronze and lasted longer, it improved the creation of tools. These tools were also developed for agricultural use, which further established long-lasting settlements around Britain. It wasn't just tools and weaponry that saw an evolution, as art, farming techniques, religious beliefs, and alphabetic writing started to rise in Britain. The European Iron Age started in the Mediterranean region and moved towards the center of Europe as the years went by. In 600 BC, the skills in iron crafting spread to the northern part of the continent. The early Iron Age was dominated by a group called the Hallstatt Chiefs, who were the elite and most powerful of the age. It was within this culture that saw the first fortified hill forts, with domesticated animals and livestock raised on their land. These would later become castles and palaces, which were not only a form of defense, but a way to boost the wealth of their family. In 450 BC, however, the Hallstatt culture crumbled, and the chiefs lost their power. This led to other groups rising to power in Europe, including the Mycenaeans, Greeks, Etruscans, Romans, and Celts, who used their iron and steel manufacturing to craft durable weapons and advanced armor. Out of all of these groups, it was the Celts that became the most powerful. The Celts were broken up into different tribes that were spread throughout Britain. Despite being advanced enough to share a common language, they were named after Keltoi, which was the Greek word for barbarians. The Celtic culture began to rise as early as 1200 BC, with the groups spreading throughout Britain, Ireland, France, and Spain as their population grew and moved around. Although they stayed mostly in Britain and Ireland, with some of their vocabularies still existing in modern-day language. While they were around for a considerable amount of time during the Iron Age, it wasn't until around 700 BC that they were documented in history by the Romans, who called them Gaeli, another word meaning barbarians. Despite their name, the Celts were among the most successful people in British history, with them controlling many parts of the continent, which include current-day Ireland. While the Celts thrived for centuries, when the Roman Empire grew and spread across Europe, Julius Caesar launched an all-out attack on the Celts, slaying thousands and crushing their settlements and culture to claim their territories. Caesar's Roman army later tried to invade Britain, but they failed, allowing the Celts to populate the land. But when it comes to the Romans' involvement in the history of Britain, their story was only just beginning. As the Roman Empire continued to grow, they eventually took control of most of Britain. Before then, the empire had dominated the Mediterranean Sea. They successfully stormed the ancient cities of Carthage and Macedon before taking control of Egypt and Syria. After traveling through the Alps, they eventually reached Albion, which was the original name for Britain. By the time the Romans arrived, the Iron Age settlements had advanced further, having thriving agriculture, wooden structures, and large communities. Trading routes had also been established between the Britons and the people of Gaul, who lived in what we now know today as France and Belgium. Here, wine and the first forms of currency were traded. While Julius Caesar failed to take full control over the island, He returned in the years 55 and 54 BC out of stubbornness and his interest in taking control of the trading that was going on. Caesar planned on disrupting the Belgae trade routes in the English Channel and believed that the Britons were going to help their friends across the sea as a response to the hospitality. This made the people of Britain enemies of the Roman Empire. Caesar managed to persuade the Roman Senate to support his invasion of Britain, telling them the land was rich in silver, a claim that he had no proof for. Before its discovery, Britain was hidden away and had gone undetected by the Romans. In fact, many people in the empire thought that the island of Albion was a myth, a legend that told of barbaric groups who were involved in a practice that disgusted the Romans to their core. They drank milk from animals. Caesar's plan to invade and take control of Britain didn't go down well, with the Romans having to retreat to avoid being defeated. Undeterred, he returned with 5 legions, which allowed him to storm across the Thames River, and he managed to speak with the chieftain of the Britons, Cassivellaunus. This meeting resulted in a peace treaty, with Caesar returning to the mainland of Europe to deal with a rebellion breaking out, and a failed harvest that threatened starvation. Caesar never returned to Britain, and after a civil war, the Republic crumbled. Under the rulership of the emperors Augustus and Caligula, who continued to grow their empire in Gaul, their eyes once again set upon the barbarians across the Channel. While the interest was there, the time wasn't right, and beyond a symbolic throwing of javelins in the ocean, the invasion never came. In the year 43 AD, however, Emperor Claudius sailed across the sea with 4 legions, with Aulus Plautius leading the charge. Reaching Richborough, located on the east coast of Kent, the invasion of Britain began. Despite only spending 16 days on the island, the glory-seeking emperor returned to Rome in the year 44, and was hailed a hero. Despite the emperor leaving, the empire continued its invasion. They swiftly took the territory of Catavolani, a Celtic tribe state, before spreading north and west. By the year 60, much of Wales was under Roman control. Roman kingdoms were created in modern-day Norfolk and other places, with the Vespasian, who would later become emperor, sending his legion to the southwest to capture tribal settlements. It was around this time that cities like Londinium, which would later be known as London, was built. While the Romans seemed like an unstoppable force, the Britons continued to resist them. A member of a Celtic tribe called Caradicus managed to persuade groups in Wales to help fight the Romans, but he was captured. He managed to escape captivity and fled to a region ruled by the ancient Britons known as the Brigantes. But the queen chose to hand him back over to the Romans as a sign of newfound loyalty. Caradicus was sent back to Rome with his family as prisoners, and surprisingly, was spared death by Claudius. Boudica, the Roman ally and wife of Prasutagus, who was the client king of the Iceni tribe, headed a revolt against the empire. After the death of her husband, half of his kingdom was to be given to the Romans, while Boudica would be left to rule the other half. Rome wasn't happy with sharing the kingdom with somebody they classed as a traitor, and decided to plunder the whole thing. If they couldn't have all of it, then nobody could. Boudica retaliated by sending her army to Londinium, where towns were plundered and burnt down. According to the Romans, 70,000 Romans were killed as a result of the revolt, although Boudica and her forces were eventually defeated thanks to the expertise of Roman governor Gaius Suetonius Paulinus. Boudica was believed to have ended her own life with poison rather than surrender to the Romans. The Romans went on to defeat the Druid stronghold at Anglesey, who were targeted for their religion that was opposed to the empire. This decision led to the emperor being replaced with Turpilianus, who saw a great change in the way the Romans ruled Britain. Eventually, Britons gave in to the Roman culture, and the previously plundered towns and settlements were rebuilt, including London, which became the capital of the Romans living in Britain. Taxes were introduced, mining techniques were improved,
Yeah, scarf that motherfucker down.
Livestock and grain production was increased tenfold, and the trade industry flourished, including that of slaves. It was during this time that roads were established throughout the country that connected key locations, such as London, York, and the Welsh border. This innovation built valuable trade networks and increased the affluence of the capital. The Romans were not yet done when it came to controlling, however, as they later moved into northern Wales, as well as sailing over to invade Ireland. The Romans further implemented their culture in Britain, building amphitheaters, Roman baths, and teaching Latin to its inhabitants. By the year 130, formidable military garrisons were built throughout the continent, and other territories ruled by groups the Romans considered barbarians, such as the Balkans, were encouraged to aid in the Roman expansion. Britain was eventually split in half, which was called Britannia Superior and Britannia Inferior, in order to rule more efficiently. The problem for the Romans was that the more they spread out, the more attention they got from other enemies. The island saw a barrage of attacks from the Picts of Scotland, the Scots of Ireland, and the Saxons who traveled from Germany. For a period, a successful rebellion led to the kingdom separating from Rome, although it was recaptured in the year 296. By the end of the 4th century, and with the emergence of Christianity on the continent, the Romans slowly lost control of Europe. The lack of food resources such as grain spelled the end of the Roman Empire. As the last emperors withdrew, British cities were given the message that the citizens now had to fend for themselves, as the empire finally fell. This is where local governments were created, overthrowing the Roman magistrates that had governed more centuries. Despite Britain no longer being a part of Rome, their culture continued and shaped the country we see around us today. In the decades that followed, heretics battled Christians. Saxons from Ireland and Scotland raided English coastal cities, and Europe began to fall in what was known as the Dark Ages. Britain broke into smaller kingdoms, and a phase of regression began. While Britain saw some truly formidable enemies, their most challenging foe was one they didn't see coming.
He's a wanker, he is.
From across the crashing waves of the North Sea in the year 793, a group of Norse people from Scandinavia reached the shores of Britain. The first major violent incident committed by these...
I don't know, this popped up on my recommended earlier, so I said, why not? Let's do the history of Britannia.
Invaders was the plundering of a Christian monastery, ushering in the 300-year-old age of the Vikings. As more longboats arrived, the barbaric invaders began raiding coastal settlements around England, Scotland, and Ireland. Eventually, the son of the legendary Ragnar Lothbrok, Ivar the Boneless, decided that it was time to take up roots on the island instead of simply pillaging them. This group of invaders would become known as the Great Heathen Army. In the year 865, the army arrived at one of the 4 kingdoms of Britain, East Anglia. Fearful of the warriors, the king of East Anglia, Edmund the Martyr, offered the warriors provision.
Every challenge our professionals face goes into anything heavy hands face.
Book your summer stay now. Hilton, for the stay.
B-Dubs bottomless apps for $9.99 are meant for sharing.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Track of stock level.
Provisions, horses, and shelter in order to be spared the violence. Following defeat, Edmund the Martyr was captured, possibly tortured, and killed. It only took a couple of years for the Vikings to capture York, the capital of one of the other four kingdoms, Northumbria. By the year 870, all of the kingdoms had been successfully taken over by the Vikings, except for Wessex. At this point, it was the Danish warlord Guthrum the Old who was leading the Norse army, while Alfred the Great remained king of Wessex. The two forces met in a bloody battle in 878, known as the Battle of Edington, where Alfred the Great claimed victory. This led to the two factions making a deal, which became known as the Treaty of Wedmore. In a strange turn of events, one of the requirements of the treaty was to have Guthrum baptized, with King Alfred becoming his godfather. The Vikings were also ordered to leave Wessex and never return. Soon after, the two rulers made another deal that defined boundaries and opened up trade routes between the two factions. Over many years, Viking customs had taken full effect in the territories they owned, including London. This land would become known as Danelaw, with Derby, Leicester, Lincoln, Nottingham, and Stamford becoming the most important towns under their control. These 5 boroughs were ruled by 5 Danish armies, all under the control of Jarl, a Viking elite. For almost a century, the Vikings and Anglo-Saxons lived in harmony, trading, working, and even mating with the opposite factions. Many words we use today also came from the old Viking language, such as words beginning with SK, such as sky. Other words derived from Old Norse include the word ugly, which stemmed from the Viking word ugligur, husband, which came from husbandi, gift, which came from gift, AEG, that became egg, and Thursday, which came from the Viking word for midweek, which was known as Thorsdager, or Thor's Day. It was the Viking strong belief in a law system that not only developed the word law in the English language, but also the word wrong, which expresses their belief in differentiating from what was deemed unacceptable when it came to their beliefs. While Alfred the Great used the time of peace to build forts and other forms of defense within his kingdom, his daughter Athoflat used the strongholds to wage war against the Vikings. After her husband died in the year 911, she took control over the kingdom of Mercia, which gave her the name Lady of the Mercians thereafter. The 5 boroughs under Viking rule were eventually defeated, and in 954, the last Nord king, the legendary Eric Bloodaxe, was forced out of the region of Northumbria. This ended the era of Danelaw, which was now known as England. Although the Viking reign was squashed, those that retreated were not finished with the land they called home. In the year 1013, Sweyn Forkbeard and his band of Viking warriors returned, with the leader becoming the first Danish king of England.
It is I, Timmy Morton.
Knut the Great took over until he passed away in 1035. The rule of the Vikings ended when King Harald successfully thwarted King Harald Hardrada of Norway in 1066, in a conflict known as the Battle of Stamford Bridge. This time, the Viking invaders had been expelled from England forever, although their legacy lives on to this day within the DNA of their descendants.
Right. This show will make you want to slap your mama. What's up, Trans Alex?
The Middle Ages and the Viking Age overlap. with this period starting around the year 400 and lasting over 1,000 years, ending in 1485. This period is broken down into three sections: the early, high, and late Middle Ages.
What's up, everybody?
We have already covered the early Middle Ages with the rule of the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons, after the fall of both of these groups in 1066. After the defeat of Nord ruler King Harald Hardrada and Edward the Confessor, the latter saw defeat by the Normans during the Battle of Hastings. While the Anglo-Saxon time came to an end, during their time, they made great strides and advancements to their settlements. Families began building a single house for all their generations to live in, from the youngest child to their grandparents. These homes were made from wood and had thatched roofs to keep them dry and warm. All the houses were built close together, with a grand hall being the focal point of their community. The heart of the home was known as the hearth, which was a fire that would be used to cook food, provide a light source, and keep the family warm. It wasn't just homes that the Anglo-Saxons improved, but the agriculture of the land. In fact, the main form of work during this period was farming. This involved cultivating crops, breeding, raising, preparing, and trading animals, as well as chopping down trees to create more farmland and to construct new buildings. Even the children were put to work during this time, who would herd cows and sheep with the help of the dogs they trained and took care of. There were also incredibly skilled professions within Anglo-Saxon communities, including blacksmiths who made everything from weapons to tools, carpenters who built furniture, carts, and bowls, cobblers who used leather to make shoes, and jewelers who used precious metals to craft beautiful items that could be traded with money. In fact, it was the Anglo-Saxons who invented the plow, which completely changed the way farming was done. They also discovered that when tamed, a horse could do a much better job of pulling plows through the soil than oxen, speeding up the farming process exponentially. Regardless, their time had to come to an end, with the Anglo-Normans taking root. The Normandy dynasty began with William I, also known as William the Conqueror, who ruled England until his death on September 9, 1087. The invasion of England was no easy feat, with even the mighty Roman Empire struggling to take over completely. This heralded William as a hero, which brought him much attention throughout the rest of Europe. It was during his reign that the landscape of the continent changed dramatically once more. The first stone-built Norman castle was built in Wales, with others joining them throughout the island. In fact, the Normans invaded much of Wales and built their castles to establish strongholds against anyone who opposed them. The Normans brought beautiful stone architecture to England, including the breathtaking Canterbury Cathedral, which was finished in 1077, the Tower of London, finished in 1078, the Oxford University, which was founded in 1096, and the commission of the Domesday Book, which recorded land valuation throughout England and parts of Wales. While William was considered a great ruler by the Normans, the feudal system implemented in the country meant that Anglo-Saxon landowners and farmers were now peasant farmers, working for whatever governing power was above them. They were stripped of their heritage, hard work, and wealth. The feudal system saw a quarter of the previous owner's land given to William the Conqueror, while another quarter of the land was donated to the Church of Rome. The remains of the land were given to the people who were loyal to William, who held high status. In return, these people were tasked with the duty of creating an army from those living in the area, if William ever needed it. For these noble folk, however, the job was beneath them, which led to them putting knights in charge of recruitment and training. The peasant farmers who the crown stole from were not spared this duty, with them being forced to swear allegiance to the knights. With their advance in agriculture came more variety in the food they grew and ate. The Normans grew a liking to spiced food, often cooking with caraway seeds, ginger, cardamom, pepper, and nutmeg. Because the Normans celebrated Christmas, these ingredients were added to their traditional winter meals, with the affluent of society having grand feasts that included pheasants, peacocks, wild boar, jellies, and custards. Common foods eaten by peasants were salted or pickled foods such as pickled herrings, bacon, and vegetable broths because they took longer to expire. While the noble members of the land washed their feast down with wine, the peasants drank strong ales. The high and late periods of the Middle Ages, which spanned the 11th to the 13th centuries, saw a great deal of change that negatively impacted the country. The feudal system encouraged huge social changes in class systems, while rebellion saw mass upheaval, while the introduction of the Renaissance saw introduced artistic expression and storytelling that would eventually give famous playwrights such as William Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe the tools to tell the common people political or romantic stories that were often inspired by real-life events from the past. This period of time has been romanticized by literature and modern media, portraying the period as one with blushing maidens, eye-watering feats, majestic castles watching over the people of the land, and knights bravely galloping into battle mounted on a steed. In truth, it was a difficult and dangerous life for most of the populace. Eventually, after several sons of William the Conqueror spent time on the throne, William the Conqueror's grandson, Stephen of Blois, became king in the year 1135. This started a huge civil war in Britain known as the Anarchy, which lasted from 1138 to 1154. This conflict
Tourist kidnapped on Colombian beach.
You make me feel so miserable.
Flonase relieves your worst allergy symptoms so you can start feeling better the same day and save your relationship with nature. Flonase.
Yeah, there's a video. Some tourist. Looks like he got robbed for his boat and they kidnapped him.
We encourage men to leave their
In Colombia.
not on their shirts. Introduce.
The conflict was led by Stephen of Blois' cousin, the Empress Matilda, who believed that the crown was her rightful inheritance. This time was incredibly difficult for everyone living in Britain, from the wealthy nobles to the lowly peasants. People began to get suspicious and desperate, which led to oppression and mistreatment. Many innocent people were tortured and interrogated for valuable information, while others stole goods and gold in order to make money for their families. Most people were left with nothing, which led to families starving to death. The Civil War ended when Stephen of Blois died in 1154, when Empress Matilda's son, Henry II, took the throne. The rule of Henry II was a fairly peaceful one, which was bolstered by his friendship with Thomas Becket, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Together, the two men had power over the people of England and their religion. Unfortunately, the friendship wasn't long-lived, with Henry ordering the murder of Thomas Becket inside of the Canterbury Cathedral. The freedom of a man was complicated during the 12th century, with some men being connected to land ownership, but forced to pay the lord. Others only paid rent, but owed no land, while some found themselves in the middle, owing a service to a master while having to pay rent for the land they lived on. If at any point someone couldn't pay their taxes, they would then have to answer to a master overlooking the area, while the non-free people, known as serfs, could be freed of their obligation. Another way of escaping control was to escape to another.
9:21 a.m. You got one too many locks. What do you mean? It's the perfect amount of locks.
Borough, and live there for a whole year.
But yeah, I do live in the ghetto.
The fugitive was caught before then, however, the lord of the manor had the right to beat and imprison the man. King John, who came to throne in 1199, was one of the cruelest rulers in English history. He was greedy, violent, and a tyrant. He struck fear in the hearts of his subjects, increasing taxes so that he could use the profit to hire mercenaries to keep everyone in check. No one was spared the wrath of King John, with even the Pope finding himself on the wrong
Sure, I'll take a dab.
end of the king. In the year 1208, John refused to accept a man named Stephen Langton as the Archbishop of Canterbury after Pope Innocent III decided to ignore the king's suggested candidates. Regardless, the church bells of Britain were not rung, and the church stopped burying people. But King John still refused to allow Stephen Langton to take up the role. This resulted in the Pope excommunicating King John, which absolved all English subjects of their oath of allegiance to him, which caused him to lose all power over them. This blow to King John resulted in a revolt breaking out in the country, and the King of France used the chaos to challenge the rulership of England. With the upheaval, King John was forced to sign a very important charter called the Magna Carta, agreeing that the country would abide by many laws and justices, which are still present to this day. These are the 4 clauses. With no other choice, the French invasion in full swing, King John eventually accepted Stephen Langton as the Archbishop of Canterbury. This decision led to the forces of the country abiding the king again, which allowed them to defeat the French armies on the coast of Flanders, located in Belgium. In 1265, King Henry III was incredibly against the citizens of the country having any say in the kingdom's rulership. The Earl of Leicester, Simon de Montfort, thought differently and opposed the king. While the Magna Carta laid the groundwork for the prominent laws of the country, Simon de Montfort created the first Parliament of England, electing people to speak on behalf of the average person. Just like today, the representatives of Parliament had their expenses paid. In 1298, taxation control was given to Parliament, bolstering the institution. One of the most devastating pandemics in British history was the Black Plague, which devastated the population in 1347. In fact, over 200 million people died from the viral disease throughout Europe in total, with 1.5 million of those coming from Britain. The initial English plague lasted 3 years, ending in 1350, with the disease popping back up multiple times in the 50 years that followed. For many years, it was believed that the plague was passed on by rats, but it's now believed to be an airborne disease that would kill those infected in just a few days. Peasants were affected the worst, as there were so many poor people living in close contact with each other. Due to the unprecedented volume of people dying, rotting corpses were left piled up in the street, with the primitive science of the day offering no cure or prevention for the plague. With peasant workers dropping from the disease, it became increasingly difficult to find people to tend to the fields and grow crops. This led to starvation and the decimation of entire villages. As they were desperately in demand, many peasant workers took advantage of the situation, moving around the country to find higher paid positions. The government didn't like the fact that peasants were now able to better themselves, and chose to side with those willing to pay more. After trying to put a stop to them traveling to find higher paid jobs, the government tried to put a stop to it. This resulted in the Peasant Revolt of 1381, in which the poor folk of England violently banded together in order to get poll tax and the wage cap removed, as well as the abolishment of the control lords had over them and their property. Another huge event that happened in the Middle Ages was the War of the Roses, which saw the House of Lancaster and the House of York fight each other between 1455 and 1485. The reason for the war was that both sides were the descendants of a previous king, Edward III.
I want to go to Russia. The women there are fire.
They wanted to take their rightful place on the throne. The last significant battle of the Wars of the Roses, the Battle of Bosworth Field, saw one of the most famous kings in English history, Richard III, fall in battle. After this, Henry VII took the throne, who married Elizabeth of York, and joined the two opposing houses of Lancaster and York together. With the birth of the infamous Henry VIII, the Tudor period was ushered in. The Tudor period had a huge focus on the reshaping and rethinking of religion, politics, and the monarchy in Britain. After defeating Richard III's army during the Battle of Bosworth in 1485, Henry VII's rule saw the beginning of a 118-year reign for the Tudors, which saw a total of 5 monarchs sit upon the throne. In fact, the rulers of this period have become some of the most recognizable in English history. It was this rulership that played a huge part in shaping England, and later the United Kingdom, through the economic changes, the role change for women, and
Russian
countrywide
blue.
religious reform. The marriage between the two cousins,
that's what's up, Russian blues are cool,
brought the feud between the Lancasters and the Yorks together, bringing two of the most influential families of England together, Henry and Elizabeth.
I was actually, before I got this cat, I was trying to get a gray cat. So I almost got a Russian blue, or potentially was looking for one.
Went on to have 8 children together in order to cement the longevity of the family rule. Although only Arthur, Henry, Margaret, and Mary Tudor made it to their adult years. Arthur went on to marry Princess Catherine of Aragon, but soon died after. Princess Margaret married James IV, which earned her the title of Queen Consort of Scotland. Princess Mary went on to marry the French King Louis XII, and Henry VIII became the King of England. As Henry was the second son of the monarchy, he was prepared for a career in the church. But after his 2 other brothers died, he was made king in 1509. In fact, he lost his 2 brothers and father in a 7-year period, which is a testament to the short lifespan people had back in those days, regardless of status. Henry was keen to find a wife and turned to his own brother's widow, Princess Catherine of Aragon, to take up this role. Henry's 36-year rule saw many impactful changes to the country and caused some of the biggest controversies in English history up until that point. The first of which was his change in attitude towards his wife, who failed to give him a male heir to the throne after 23 years of marriage. He became so desperate for a male heir, in fact, that he eventually turned his back on the Catholic Church and began his own, the Church of England. With the king now able to establish his own marriage and annul rules, Henry allowed himself to remarry so that he could have a son to ensure his legacy remained on the throne. This freedom allowed Henry to have 6 marriages in total, which allowed him to have many children, while only one would be a boy. His son, Edward VI, was crowned king in 1547 after Henry passed away of tuberculosis. In a twist of irony, after all the effort his father put into ensuring the bloodline continues, Edward died just a few years later in 1553, leaving no male heirs to take up the mantle. This death left the Tudor government in chaos, with only his 2 sisters, Mary and Elizabeth, being the only candidates for succession. This wasn't ideal, as they were both female and had religious views that were not in line with that of the Protestants.
It's the history of Britannia.
That Henry VIII was converting the Catholics to. In fact, it was Edward's devout Catholic half-sister, Mary, that was the rightful heir to the throne. Due to her religion, however, Edward named Lady Jane Grey as queen, who was his cousin once removed, because she was a Protestant. Mary, however, wasn't going to let her birthright go to another relation. This resulted in Lady Jane only reigning for 9 days before being executed for high treason, along with her husband, 2 of his brothers, and the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer. Now, with Mary on the throne, the Tudors were once again thrown into chaos, as she set about reversing all the work her father and brother did, reverting the primary religion of England back to Catholicism. This change was done aggressively.
And I think it's interesting how in like the what are they called? The Mongolians culture, they would, or the Mongols, they would like give you a different name, like as you like accomplish like different tasks throughout your life. So like Genghis Khan, before he was Genghis Khan, he was known as like Temujin or something, which means like iron worker. And then when he became the great ultimate ruler, that's when he became Genghis Khan. And no one had to like everyone's name changed throughout their life.
The Protestant
so you didn't always have the same name.
People now persecuted for being heretics. This led to 300 people who refused to be conformed to Catholicism being burned at the stake. This dark patch in English history is now known as the Marian persecution. Not only were Queen Mary's forceful religious views a problem for people of nobility, but so was her gender. Being the first queen, which was earned in her own right, several of the most influential nobles insisted that she should marry a Protestant man in order to heal the relationship with her people. Mary, who would not be pushed around, chose to marry the Spanish Prince Philip II in 1554 instead. Unfortunately, the pair didn't have any children despite many attempts. Eventually, Mary named her Protestant half-sister Elizabeth the next heir to the throne as she lay dying. Elizabeth I had a long reign that spanned 1558 to 1603, in which she did a lot for the country. As the daughter of Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth had to work hard to persuade her people to support her. Due to her intelligence and likable character, she had a glorious reign. With that being said, there were several issues throughout that time, including her Catholic enemies attempting to murder her, an attack from Rome, and her decision to stay single. Regardless, she faced adversity and earned the nickname Gloriana, Good Queen Bess, and the Virgin Queen. When she passed away in 1603, the Tudor period came to an end. Before the Tudor era, agriculture played a huge part in the lifestyle of the country, with 90% of the population working on farmland. This was an incredibly hard life that came with a low life expectancy. As the age of exploration began, the focus shifted to trade. Coal, tin, iron, and lead mining began to grow exponentially, which made the country incredibly rich. With that being said, famine and poverty was still rife in Tudor England. In 1530, however, the cruel laws against beggars were abolished, and vagrants were allowed to beg as long as they had a license. This led to an influx of beggars, which resulted in a new law being passed in 1547. Which meant that anyone caught begging would be imprisoned for 2 years. In 1550, this law was changed again, with the punishment for the vagrant being a flogging, which meant that they were struck on the back with a whip or rod. The rule of Elizabeth I introduced the Poor Law in 1601, which gave the poor a tax relief, as well as other forms of support. It was during this time that the criminal system took a preference to physical punishments, rather than being thrown into prison. This included flogging and putting into stocks, which would add humiliation to the punishment. Those who committed the more serious crimes, such as murder, still resulted in execution. The noble...
No sleep yet, but I just had a Subway sandwich for breakfast, so that's gonna help.
And affluent criminals would still be beheaded like previous centuries, while the poor and common population would be hung at the gallows. often with crowds gathering to watch the spectacle. A focus on education came with the Tudor period, with Richard Mulcaster, the educationalist, insisting that a boy's education was the most important, as they were more worthy. This led to boys from wealthy families being sent to grammar school and universities before the girls, despite a female monarchy ruling over the country. The future of girls was predetermined to be that of wives and mothers, well versed in needlework, cooking, and cleaning. Eventually, girls were given the right to get an education, although it was limited to only reading and writing. Eventually, local schools were established where boys and girls would study together. It was during the Tudor period that leisurely activities began to rise. Many people began playing tennis and football, as well as watching jousting events and gambling. The more affluent of society played chess and gambled by playing card games, such as Primero and Noddy, which was the precursor to cribbage.
Hey, big guy!
Mamma mia.
Let's go.
The future of home shopping is here, and it's only on Homes.com. Introducing Homes AI.
Welcome back. How can I help?
Homes, please find me a
Homes
three-bedroom
that
home.
AI? Shut the fuck up.
After Elizabeth I passed away in 1603 and the reign of the Tudors came to an end, James VI became king. James was the son of Mary, Queen of Scots, who had been executed for treason and had become a martyr for the Catholic faith. While many hoped that James would support the Catholic religion, he refused to repeat the same mistakes as Queen Mary by trying to roll back the Reformation. When the Catholics living in England didn't get the support they wanted, a group of people began to plot an assassination. This plan involved blowing up the Houses of Parliament on a day that they knew the king would be present. In 1605, Guy Fawkes and his group of conspirators stored a large volume of gunpowder in a storeroom that was directly below the House of Lords. Unfortunately for the conspirators, the plan was foiled on November 5th, which led to all of the men being hung, drawn, and quartered. This day became known as Bonfire Night, celebrated with fireworks every year on November 5th. Despite the assassination attempt, on the whole, James brought peace to the country, joining England and Scotland together, who had previously been locked in conflict. After James died, it was his son Charles that took the throne in 1625. Charles was devoted to the Anglican Church and loved the arts, which was reflected in his rule without a parliament in place. Eventually, he was forced to recall Parliament so he could raise money, but he refused to give them any power and control over the land and church. This led to a civil war breaking out in August 1642. This conflict snowballed, with the number of people killed estimated to be in the millions through the 9 years it raged on. The civil wars forced castles to go into service, some of which hadn't been used for their military purpose since the Middle Ages. Many of them were sieged by opposing factions in order to gain strongholds that would provide a strategic advantage. In 1647, King Charles was defeated by the Parliament's army, led by Sir Thomas Fairfax and Oliver Cromwell. Charles was held prisoner at Carisbrooke Castle, where peace negotiations were to take place. Unbeknown to Fairfax and Cromwell, however, Charles was secretly planning a second civil war, which broke out a year after he was imprisoned. This led to the king being executed in 1649. The news that a king had been beheaded shocked Britain and Europe, which led to the future Charles II trying to invade the country with the help of the Scots. This attempt failed, with Charles only avoiding death by hiding inside an oak tree at Boscobel in Shropshire. Government and church powers weakened after the beat.
Catch a nice big one, man.
Ideas often spread through pamphlets. Growing religious sects began to preach about the second coming of Christ, a belief that spread throughout the country. At this time, Oliver Cromwell ruled the Commonwealth of England, Scotland, and Ireland, donning the title of Lord Protector. Although Cromwell had his own radical religious views, he allowed all religions to be practiced throughout the country. Cromwell used his army to keep control of the country right up until his death, when his forces weakened, and Charles II was free to return in 1660 to rule the country. The reign of Charles II, which spanned 25 years, saw changes to art, architecture, daily life, and leisure. In fact, it was this period that saw the revival of theaters. This period also brought some incredible scientific discoveries, such as the manufacture of phosphorus, which was dipped into wooden splints to create matches. With that being said, there were several disasters that happened during this time, including the Great Plague of 1665 and the Great Fire of London that broke out in 1666, after a fire broke out in a small bakery. The Catholic brother of the king, James, went under heavy criticism about whether he should be the next king. Regardless, he succeeded his brother, becoming King James II. While the king defended the throne against the Duke of Monmouth, his illegitimate Protestant brother, he became disliked by many for the violent trials of the rebels and policies put forward by the king. Eventually, William of Orange and the daughter of James invaded England, which led to James fleeing and the pair being crowned king and queen. The rule of William III and Mary II marked a peaceful period for the country. Mary's sister Anne took the throne afterward in 1702. While her reign was known for the victory over Louis XIV, the most monumental event was the Act of Union, which saw the beginning of a united Great Britain. Now, we've spoken a lot about the monarchy and rule, as it was the rich and powerful that could learn to read and write to document their lives and historical achievements. But what were the lives of everyday Britons like in the Stuart era? Most of the common people during this era were poor, with some forced to live in terrible conditions. This was only made worse by the influx in population, which saw entire areas impoverished and starving. This led to poor laws being implemented, which were first introduced a century before by Elizabeth I, which helped the poorest people of the country. Most of those working have a master above them who would provide them the room and wages to live on. Vagrancy became a huge issue during this period, as the most impoverished of people were forced to beg or claim charity from family and neighbors. In fact, many poor people chose to travel to the New World in order to change their lives and make money. While times were most difficult at the start of the Stuart period, things got better near the end of it. For the poor, the focus was on finding the next meal. When food stocks were down, people concentrated on the harvest industry. When soldiers during the Civil War were waiting for payment, many of them were...
I actually need to... I'm probably in my stream for now. Maybe I might restart it, or I might take a nap. I haven't decided yet, but peace out.